Hi, my name is Sally Bernard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery, and with the help of my spirit guides, it's time to trust your intuition. Sit with me and call in live 888-994-4995 Studio A. And now onto the show. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my show. Once again, I do want to thank my audience that tune in every week. Thank you very much. I appreciate your questions, so please call in today and ask me whatever you want. The subject, I believe, is going to be past lives, but anything that you feel that you wanted to talk about. The number here is 888-994-4995 Studio A. And every time I say that, I give myself a little clap because I usually can't remember the number. Okay, I'm going to read from my book. Again, this is Oneness, and I just felt it might be appropriate today. Be a part of what is, what was, and what will be. What a joy. Remember, back in time, look with awe towards the future. Put them where they should be, where they are and will always be. We are but one. We are whole together. Teach the children, teach ourselves. It is the time. We have within us all that we will need. Here, and you will find. We ourselves hold the future. We are blessed. Never give up hope. We will go home. Look inside, look outside. Feel the wind, watch the trees. We will understand so much, my children. Go in peace, go in greatness. Go among the people. For we all are but one. If only we could all just really understand some of that. And let's give thanks to where we are right now, and just let's do a second of a blessing for the world today, because it's a little bit, I'm getting topsy-turvy, upside down. So let's all give just now, if you can, if you're watching, or anybody that will be watching this show on a record, just give a few seconds thanks to this world and send peace and love everywhere in the world. Thank you. I was just very compelled to say that. In fact,
did that come with a drawing, Sally?
No, this didn't. But I was doing them the same way that I did do my drawings. And you know, I wrote this, as I said, many years ago, this prose. And I have no recollection of writing it at all. And I really didn't understand. I do today because I've come on my journey a little, even my own journey. But I was writing this before I even understood what I was writing. So, okay, so let's open the show up and let's talk to my beautiful studio audience here.
I want to talk a little bit, ask you, outside of your show, you are a psychic, you are a medium, you do private readings, you past life regressions as well?
Yes, I do, which is actually, people are getting very interested in that today, and I get people ask me, do you do past life regressions? Who was I? What am I? Have I been here before? But I'm getting so much interest in that. So many people today are interested in past lives.
Do you think that's important to know who you were?
Yes and no. There's two sides to that question. I think it's important because we have so many different lives. We haven't been here just once or twice before. I believe, and not everybody, but I believe that we've had thousands of lives. So as my friend Aldo used to say to me, we can't remember, just like we can't remember everything we do in this lifetime. We don't remember, in fact, we forget all our lifetimes, but the ones that we will start to remember, we can bring into this particular lifetime. So it would be something from another lifetime that is following the same theme in this lifetime. So let's say I have a lifetime where I was maybe a psychic or a medium, and I want to bring in that particular lifetime to see how I was in that lifetime. So you're only going to bring in, as far as I feel anyway, which would be relevant to help us in this lifetime. So otherwise we would go crazy anyway, just remembering some of the things we've done here. So can you imagine if we suddenly brought in all these lifetimes? So there's a reason we forget.
So I was thinking, you and I were talking before the show
Yeah.
of a past lifetime or past lifetime connection. How would we bring that lifetime into this lifetime without sharing what
Well,
it is.
no, and it's difficult because we're not going to share that one, and I haven't. But there will be a theme in this lifetime, Dawn, which I'm finding very interesting, and they're helping me with this, that's going to relate to the lifetime that we just brought up, that we realized we were both together in that lifetime. So there's going to be something, or something may have even happened in this lifetime that has a parallel to that particular lifetime. I'm not sure myself, I don't know. And I don't often think of that lifetime, only you just brought up where you were, and I was in the same place. And I'm very aware of that because Aldo had actually explained to me that particular lifetime. And you bring it up. So there are no coincidences. There was a reason for that. So what may be happening maybe in the next month, 2 months, next year, it's going to relate to something to do with that particular lifetime. And now everybody's going, what is she talking about? Why doesn't she tell us? But
Well, ever since I was a little girl, I knew I had a past life. Before I knew past lives were even a thing in the South on a plantation.
yeah.
And I know there's a lot of controversy over what happened, but the reality is it happened, right? That's our American history. I don't know what my role was. I just know I was there. I know I'm fascinated by Frederick Douglass and the Underground Railroad and Harriet Tubman, and all of these
Well, I'm
things
getting
always
cold.
fascinated me. And I went exploring an old plantation, the Jefferson Plantation, when I was there for a wedding years ago.
Right.
And I walked through the entirety of it, freezing cold. And
And
it was
I
a cold day,
hadn't
but I
gone-
was like bitterly,
Yeah, no,
bone-chilling cold.
Yes, and that's what's happening to me right now. And that was a particular lifetime. Since you have brought it up, we won't necessarily mention who we were, but
I
that
don't
was
know
a
who I was.
lifetime that, and I'm not, because I'm English, I know your presidents here, but I'm not familiar with the years that they ran as president. But that was one that I was definitely in that particular lifetime. And when you brought it up just now, I mean, it's still happening. I'm freezing cold. And you are too. Well,
But
I
do
mean,
you
I
think
don't-
other people it will resonate? So maybe he sees a place or he feels in his soul, because that's where it comes from.
Yes.
That you've been there before, or you have a calling to be at a place. Has that ever happened to you?
It has, absolutely. What I'm interested is not only the past life, but that you're able to group people in the same place. So you and Dawn apparently have
Well, I
shared.
believe that Dawn and I have had, and I mean, it's no secret because we have talked about it on the show before, we've had quite a few lifetimes together. And I think we get validated, even the fact, and I know we brought this up the other day, that when I first walked in here, I didn't know you, so I didn't know that I knew you. And I'm bringing in artwork, and from out of the blue, you said to me you had seen the artwork that I'm bringing in. Well, I mean, I'm not sure quite how that happened. I think you probably traveled and we in this particular lifetime. But realistically, that could not be possible unless there was something going on, right? How would you have seen my art when we were just first meeting and I'm bringing some in to show you?
And you think I had the same feel when I was in Israel.
Yes.
So like I think I've had a past life in Israel. I think I've had a past life in the South on a plantation. There's
Well,
a lot of
that
gap
one-
of time between these things.
because
so
we have many lives. so-
but how is that possible?
Well, I don't feel a connection. I mean, I feel connection with Israel, but I don't feel that I was in a lifetime with you in Israel. I definitely do with the one we're talking about now, and also in the 15th century. Definitely, absolutely. In fact, this painting portrays some of the people, which you are very comfortable looking at the faces and things. So we bring in what we need. I mean, if we've had experiences here in this lifetime and we're going to have something similar happening again in this lifetime, we're going to maybe pull from what happened in this lifetime into that and say, well, what did we do then? We did that wrong. Let's do it a different way. It's the same thing. We just pull back in time of other lifetimes.
You know, it's always been a struggle with me, although I firmly believe that, I had past lives, but I can never really place myself, and we've spoken about it, and you've suggested that perhaps we were in show business together around the vaudeville days.
Yes.
But I have nothing concrete that draws me to that, except our same love for the same type of, music and entertainment. I think more so than just places, I think it's our connection.
It's a feeling. Not to interrupt you, but yes, you have had some validation on that, Steve, and that's how we started to talk about it. Because when I was young, and I know that now I was in show business, not in a lifetime, not that long ago from this. When I used to go to the theater as a child, I used to just, I couldn't wait. I just wanted to be there. You had mentioned the same thing. When they used to have the curtain call when you came down and then you bow to the audience or whatever you do. I just would bring tears to my eyes as a child. I shared that with you, and you said you had the same feeling.
Same
Now,
feeling.
I'm sure not everybody goes to the theater, and when it's the end of the show, they start crying when they see a curtain coming down. But it was a remembrance, and that's a very good example of how
Okay.
that works.
And then not necessarily time and place, but a connection to people that I believe that we had to have been together at some past time because of the things that transpired between us. Like just as early as a Saturday night, we were getting ready to go out, and our closets are in different rooms, and we came out wearing the same outfits. You know,
Well, not quite the same
Well,
color.
I wasn't
I
wearing.
did
a
have
dress,
a
but-
long skirt on. See.
But you had black and tan, and
Yes,
I
I
had black
did,
and
yes,
tan.
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's happened
But
many
there's a
times.
carry on. I mean, yes, and that I mean, it's not coincidence because we've had too many, but it's more feelings that you definitely get. I mean, I feel very comfortable, just even the four of us right now sitting here. I can't tell you what you were in, I can tell you what you were in other lifetimes, but you still got to feel it. I feel that we were all in, I've said this before, we were all in show business in another lifetime. It took me a very long time. I love the feeling, and I love the theater, and I love all these things, but it took me a long time, although I loved it, to actually come forward and do something in show business of some type. But I feel that we are connected. Now, I can't necessarily tell you how to feel. It's just a feeling, but I feel that. But it's still got to come from each and every one of you too, to say, yeah, I do feel a connection, because Aldo never used to put words in my mouth. I used to tell him, this is what I feel. And then he would explain to me the reasons why. So he didn't say, you were doing that at this particular time. I would have to ask him, did I do that? But he had a lot of answers for me, because he came in with a lot of memory, as some people do. People come in with memory from other lives.
So you and Steve knew each other very long before you got married, correct?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so I just got to ask the question in the room, where does it all lead? Obviously, you marry someone, or you don't marry somebody, or you meet somebody, and you learn that you've had a past. Is there something in the future that there's a reason for all of this?
Ah, yes, but that's where all this mystery goes. That's what they're telling me, because we don't know. I mean, I can predict future in certain particular cases, but I can't tell you what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. But as you unwind, so to speak, the story, and you go on and you see certain parts of the play, so to speak, that's what they're explaining it to me, it begins to all fall in. So if there's a scene, and they're explaining it, so forgive me, this is the way they're telling me, there's a scene there and I'm in it, and I'm going to the next scene, it's still up to me, because I have free will, to follow that next scene. But I can't always predict how the characters, let's say the four of us, are going to show up. But if we're all on the same vibe, and that's a very, very important thing to know, actually. If you all feel the same way, and you feel that you want to do this, go ahead and do it. And you'll find that it will fall into place. It falls into place easier, because that's what we call following our passion. If I follow my passion, I'm doing the right thing. I can't tell everybody to do that, but if we're meant to be together and we've met up, our passion will follow, and it'll all be on the same vibration. Does that make sense?
Yes, and is it that same vibration that allows you and I to know every word to every song from like the 20s and 30s before
we're in sync, and there's words, all these words are very important. When you're in sync, it follows. When you're on a vibration, it follows. It's only when you go against that, you get turmoil, you'll get things going upside down. So the best thing to do is to try to bring yourself back to where you were when you were feeling good in the first place. You can continue that, but you've got to be aware of that, because it's like you're saying, and I often say I'm having a bad day. As I'm saying that, I'm changing what was flowing. So now it continues to a bad day. And that's actually a good example of what we do. So if we're having a good day, let's continue having that good day and do things that we know bring us happiness in that day. Call up somebody, or Hi. Just, or whatever it is, if you feel someone flashes into your mind at that particular time, give them, well, I'm the worst person at making phone calls, and you know that too, but call that person up. It will flow. It's in sync. All these words have meanings.
So every week changes the flow to another direction.
Yes, it
Or every
absolutely.
day.
Every minute, Freddie. You know, we can say in here when it can be. I was joking actually when all the cameras came here. I said this studio is coming alive to me. I was feeling a little tired, but I knew the moment that I sat here right now, I'll be fine because I'm in sync with what's going on.
I think you have some questions over here.
Yes, I do. I see.
I'm going to pass my mic.
Hey, Sally.
Hi.
I was wondering, what was one of my past lives?
Oh boy, that's a really loaded question. Okay, I would have to go a little bit deeper into this, but we can do this another time, but I can definitely take you back into your past lives. But it's hard right now without going into it a little bit more, which would take a few minutes. But we'll go into that for sure.
Okay.
Just to follow up on that question, do you have any feelings as to what any of your past lives might have been?
I feel like I've done a lot of stuff because I start doing something and I just get clinged in and I'm like, oh, I know how to do this.
So, and that's a good example of what we should do that follow. It only, you know, we don't have to bring our past lives in, but if it's something that you're doing and you're feeling good about it and you felt that you've done it before, then that's a very good indication that that was a past life and you're going to continue doing it in this life. You may not have finished what you were doing. So if you're feeling comfortable setting up something new, and it's flowing and you're in sync, you'll continue. So we can also tell, you know, as long as we have an open mind about our past lives, we can tell who we were or what we were doing. We're not always sure, but we can get some indication.
Okay. You do energetical readings, no?
I do readings. As far as energetic, I'm not sure with that, familiar with that.
Like my aura or something like that.
Yeah, yes, I do, but I don't so much read I can tell up to a point, but I get more messages, I channel more, so I hear from, it's not so much what I'm seeing, it's what I'm hearing.
Okay. And then with that thought saying, is anything Ishmael saying to me?
He's happy that you keep bringing him up. He likes that. He's totally on your side. Whatever you have been discussing, something, I feel that he's saying to me to tell you that he's absolutely, you are correct, if that makes sense to you. You've been, and you were a little bit, not on the edge, but you were thinking, is this is right? But he's telling me, yes, I was listening to it. You are.
Okay. Thank you, Sally.
I guess I'm next. That's Allie.
Hi, Josh.
How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. I guess my first question is there anything in the air that needs to be said to me first?
Needs to be said to you, or for you
Like,
to say
yeah,
something?
if there's any like any things that the spirit wants to tell me, messages.
Oh. Well, it's like a continuation. I feel also that you've had this, it's not a turmoil, but it's an uneasiness that you're following here. But it's playing out the way that it should. Don't do any, and I have a feeling they're telling me I said this to you before, and I don't always remember. Don't play out your part right now. Just let things unfold. In other words, don't put yourself into a situation and go for and then change it. Don't change it right now. Let it play out in your mind. Give it thought, because what you're doing is correct. And in other words, don't leave something right now. Let it play out, because it will all make sense. It'll all fit in. It'll carry on. The flow will carry on. And they're telling me I said something to you this once before. I don't know.
No, that kind of switches up my question I was going to ask. I'll ask this other one later. But for now, I mean, I feel like I'm getting a little lazy working on my portfolio. Is that going to hurt me, you think? Or should I
yes, it is.
focus on it right now?
Yes, you don't want to be lazy about this.
Okay.
they're quite firm about that.
Yeah, sweet. All right, well, that helps.
I
Thank you.
never know what I'm going to say. Don't blame me. I'm just a messenger.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Sally, what messages do you have for me?
Everybody seems to have change. Don't fear change, because we're all changing. We're all growing, actually. So go ahead with. You have a lot of ideas, because I know you, Freddie. So it's hard. You know, I know you have a lot of ideas, but they're telling me, please follow through with them, but just don't drive yourself crazy with it. Okay, take one step at a time. Figure out which. Yeah, this is important. Figure out the most important. And it's funny because they said important twice now. Then carry through with that. Get that out of the way, and the same applies to you too, Dawn. Okay? Do it in sequence. Do the most important one, go through and figure it out, then something else comes. But you can't do it all at the same time, though. You have to compartmentalize, is that the word?
Compartmentalization.
Yes. Right. And do that, and then go to the next one and to the next one. But seek help of people around you too. Ask questions. Don't just say, this is the way that I want to do it. Ask, like you guys, each other. Talk it through, and the answers are all there.
Don't spread yourself so thin.
That's a good way of putting it, yes.
One task at a time.
No, one task at a time. If you feel that you want to do it and it's important, do it by all means, absolutely. But that's good. Don't spread yourself thin. Just continue doing what you're doing, and when you finish up to a point, you don't have to finish it completely. Put it there and then start the next one, and you'll find they'll come together anyway. I'm just the messenger.
Do you have any past lives, Freddie, that you know of? More than one?
Maybe. I think we all have past lives. I think knowing is the question.
It's, yeah, and if it's appropriate to bring it up in this particular lifetime, because there's lots of lifetimes that we've had, as I was saying. It's not always going to be appropriate to bring it into this particular one.
I'm a firm believer that you should live what you've learned, not speak
Yes.
about what you talk about.
Yes, that's true, that's good.
Because if you don't live what you learned, then you've learned nothing.
Then you're not learning your lessons, and we're here to learn lessons. I like to talk like that, about what's happening or why we're here, because it's important. It's important for us to learn. We're on a learning journey, and if we begin to understand that we're on that journey, things will be easier for us, because you're not going to necessarily always repeat the same mistakes again. We do that because we haven't learned, but it's better to get it done with and then on to the next one. So learning is very important.
Sometimes easy isn't the best learning
No, you're
structure. And
absolutely
people
not.
want to take a pill. Like they'll ask you, what was I in the past? So maybe I was a duck. What difference does it make? It doesn't really matter what you were. It matters what you've learned from it and brought it forward.
That's exactly right, and you'll bring that into this life of what you're learning. But let's say you were, it's not necessarily a duck, but you will be a different person in this, let's say a man or a woman. We do change our sexes. So you'll come in to learn it as a woman or a man next time. It'll be a very similar scenario, but not exactly the same, because otherwise why are you repeating it? Because you didn't learn, so you're going to have to go through it again. Sometimes also, and I had questioned this myself, but they're answering me this, it's not always in this particular lifetime. It could come forward in the next lifetime from something that happened 4 lifetimes ago. It's an ongoing journey, and I think if you wake up to the fact that this does exist, and this is where we are, and we're here for eternity, it makes life more interesting, because you're going, oh my gosh, am I going to have to repeat that again? But yes, you will if you haven't figured it out. But what a wonderful way to start to understand that there's reasons why these things happen, that you're on a journey, and let's figure it out now and get it corrected. It'll go on, there'll be something else again, but this is how we learn.
Well, a moment ago you said we're here for an eternity, but does there come a time where your lifetimes actually stop, and what would stop them?
Well, I guess that's our choice. It can stop at this if you want it to be this last one. It doesn't mean that we disappear. We just stay in spirit. But our lifetimes, we choose many, many times to come back. But that's our individual choice as a spirit, actually, that comes in. So, I mean, it would be a shame, really, to stop halfway through something.
I was just curious if there was something that makes you continue or makes
I don't
you
know
stop.
the ending of that, and I've often said that, and I don't think they ever really want to tell me. But when you decide completely that you're done, you're done. You're on another plane or another dimension. But that's, you know, everything is happening all at the, in other words, let's explain it this way. Wherever we are, whatever we're doing, or whatever we've done in previous lives, it's all now. In fact, I said this to you the other day. Everything's happening all at once at the same time. And that's the very best way to explain it. To understand it is very difficult. But all that we've been, all that we ever will be, wherever we are, whatever we're doing, has happened, is happening, and will continue to happen.
Which is why we should probably watch that movie again and try and get through it, everything,
Yes,
everywhere, all at
because
once.
it's like watching, it just, you know, you can talk about watching a television program. We're watching something on TV, but there's many other stations going on at the same time. You just tune into that particular channel. You tune in and you see what you're watching. You may be, oh, I've had enough of this, I want to watch something different. So you tune into another station. Doesn't mean that it's not there, it's all there. This is very difficult to understand, and it's difficult for me. You know, I'm happy to talk about it. The more I talk about it, the more it's making sense to me.
I think we have to take a commercial break. But before that, Linda wants to know, Steve, do you feel that you were a comedian in a past life?
Well, there could be reason why people would think that. I like to make people laugh in this lifetime. Whether that has carried forward from another lifetime, I don't know. I hope so, because I get great joy in think people's reaction to the silliness that I bring to the table. So
Okay, I
Perhaps.
think we're on.
All right, let's take a quick break.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was a break.
no, that's,
Yeah.
You gotta tell them that.
Okay, we're just going to see you on the other side of my show. Oh dear. My story starts at 4 or 5 years old. My name is Sally Bernard, and I was born at the end of the Second World War, in the middle of an air raid siren going off. My parents were in a movie theater, and my mother went into labor. My father ran out of the movie theater, but there was no cabs to be available because everybody is running for cover. However, they found one, and the taxi driver was given the address to take my father and my mother to the hospital. As my mother was in labor, about a half an hour, I arrived at exactly midnight. I think I was fed messages at a very early age. My parents used to like to play cards, and they had a card game every Wednesday or Thursday night at home when I was a baby. And I actually said to them one day, why do you keep waking me up at night? The card game is waking me up, and I can't get back to sleep so quickly. And they looked at each other and they said, we're not really waking her up. They were quite away from my bedroom. And they called in a psychic to say, what in the world is going on? And the psychic said that I'm getting many messages that are waking me up at night. I thought whatever I was experiencing, other people were experiencing too. You don't know until you realize that you are different. Many things were happening to me, things that were unexplainable to me. What I had dreamt was happening. I could sense many things, and the things that I was sensing were coming about, but something was going on. I will explain to you everything. You're ready.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came into the U.S. in 1979. A mother of two and a grandmother of four, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, She began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the third dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest into art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed a paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail on how she is able to astral a project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life and direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today, authorhouse.com and amazon.com.
Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Bernard, and you can find my book at authorhouse and amazon.com or visit my art on my clothing in my boutique at artbysallybernard.com. Now back to the show. Hi, welcome back. I'm ready for your phone in or questions in the studio. Here I am.
Just a quick word. If you wish to purchase Sally's book, Call Me Zena, do so by scanning the QR code or going to Amazon, Call Me Zena, or going to authorhouse.com.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
And we could put up the QR code in her lower third, so we can keep that up there also.
It does explain a little, and I think I'd mentioned this earlier too, another time. You know, I talk about what happened to me and how this all started. And anybody that wants to ask me questions, I'm here every week on my show. So if you buy my book and there's something that you want to know a little bit more about, happy to answer. Just call me and I'll give you the answers of how it happened. A lot of very strange things were happening to me, and I did put it all down there in the book. So I'm here for questions and answers.
All right, so I have to ask you about Elizabeth because I had more validation that I sent you over the weekend. It's like it's right there,
yes.
right? I know that's a past life for me. What does she have to say?
Well, she's happy that you're very aware of her, actually. And then we get these messages all the time. But their way of saying is that we could keep sending you messages, but if you don't see them or you don't take note of them, it's not like they stop. They never stop. But it does make them happy when you acknowledge it. And she's telling you she's very happy because you do acknowledge her a lot.
But then I think people wonder and they see it. My daughter's very big on looking for messages. So we're driving and every license plate and every mile marker, if it's 222 or if the license plate says you got this, whatever it is, to her those are messages.
Yes.
All right. But what does that ultimately mean? Just is it an awareness?
It's awareness, yes, and she's aware, and they're happy because they know that she does that. They're going to send her more. That was a very good example because they can give you messages, but she looks at the license plates, so she's going to see many. It's just letting her know that they are there for her.
Now you had that with a license plate, didn't you, with Louise?
Yes,
and a
we were
license
talking
plate?
about
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, but I saw we were talking shortly after my daughter passed. My daughter's initials are LCS. And right as we were talking, a car just crossed around, and it had their initials.
And there are other things that happen, like we're talking about past relationships while driving in the car, and Sally was telling me the names of men she's had relationships with, and then all of a sudden...
Gee, thanks, Steve.
You
Well,
have a question?
That's
funny.
You know, we're not... we're only married 2 years, but all of a sudden a song comes on that has the names of everyone we were just discussing. You know,
I had a relationship with.
you got to sneak out the back, Jack, make a new plan stand.
There wasn't that many. There was just a few,
That's
but it was each
hilarious.
one of their names. I can't believe you just brought that up.
You have another question, Sally?
do.
Make it light. Hi.
Hi,
Yes.
Sally.
Hello. On the lighter side, right?
Do you think everybody has guides?
Yes.
And are they people that like you know or just like
Well, not everybody, I'm going to say, has a guide that actually is here on Earth. I had my guide, and I was lucky enough to meet him. But we do, but we don't know necessarily. But yes, we all have guides. We have several guides. Some incarnate with us, some don't. But everybody has guides. Yes.
do you happen to know who mine are? Can you feel them?
I'm getting like a Swahili name? Where is Swahili?
It's an African language.
Okay, I'm getting like, I can't pronounce it, but do you have someone from
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't really know the.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the name, but there's someone very prominent that's watching over you, and they're just saying wherever I just said Swahili. It's hard for me to interpret it.
That's okay.
They have a very, in my head, I hear a very strong accent.
Mm-hmm.
But this is somebody that's watching over you. I cannot give you the name,
That's fine.
but you definitely have someone very much watching over you.
Male or female?
It's a male.
Do people have multiple spirits watching
Yes,
them?
absolutely. We have many, many people watching over us. But this person is coming forward, and I'm having difficulty understanding.
Mhm.
But they just want to make their presence known to you. Swahili, that's it, Swahili.
Hey, Sally. Hey, Sally.
I mean, I got your guide that way, I know.
Yes,
so,
ma'am. I wanted to know what do my guides say for my love life. Oh my God! Take the mic.
Yeah, I guess he's gone.
What is this, Ask Ann Landers?
Why did you disappear?
What do the
guy
guy
have to
say about his love life?
He doesn't want to know?
I'll relay the message to him.
Oh, you're going to relay?
Yeah, I'll relay it to him.
It's a little bit
He's afraid to hear the truth.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
It's a little bit unpredictable. Okay?
Yeah.
So watch out. Okay. I'm just the messenger again. I have to just let you know. No, there's more I can tell Josh if you want, not you. Well, it's
we're
a
still
very
on Avraham.
similar story. Yours is too.
You looking at me or Avraham?
At you, Josh.
Oh,
It's also unpredictable.
I didn't even ask my question yet, though.
I know, but
What's your question?
Okay. Right.
I can ask myself a question.
No, I mean earlier you said to like keep doing what you're doing, like you're on the right path, and to see how things turn out. To me, that message kind of relates to this past weekend. I was hanging out with someone, had a really good time the whole entire weekend. The only issue is that I feel like I'm always less of a man unless I have a woman by my side.
Okay, you got to overcome that, Josh. That's not true. You are who you are, and you're a very, very strong individual. I don't want to go back too much into your past, but a lot of this is stemming from what's happened to you in the past. Have that inner control over yourself. Someone else doesn't make you who you are. You are who you are, and you're very strong. And always, when you begin to feel that way, change your mindset. You can be with someone, you can be without someone. You don't need anybody to validate you. That's what they're
But
telling
when
you.
you have
very
the
much.
right woman by your
No,
sorry.
but right.
When you have that right woman by your side, you will feel a lot stronger.
Yeah.
When you had the wrong one by your side, you're going to feel a lot weaker.
Thank you. Thank you.
Josh, either way, you don't need any. You can have someone who. My voice is going.
Okay,
Okay, I'm fine.
But isn't youth supposed to be spent on finding things that work and
Yes,
don't work?
it's experimenting actually.
So just because he meets somebody doesn't mean that that's the future Josh.
No, not at all. You know, take it slow. Just have a relationship. Be in a relationship. Be without. It doesn't matter. It's not that important. You're experimenting.
And you're probably better off doing it wrong while you're not married than if you decide to get married and then experiment to do
Yes,
it wrong.
absolutely. But this is the time to have fun when you're younger.
Did you hear what she said? Have
This is
fun.
the time to have fun. You don't have to have somebody in your life. I mean, if the right one comes along, as Steve just said, that's all well and good too. But you don't have to have someone. Just be yourself, have fun, and then the right one comes along. Sometimes people say when you least expect it. So, and that goes for you too, young man over there.
Young man over there. You never know.
No.
Yeah, it's like with us. It was when I least expected it. You know, we came back into each other's lives.
We did.
It can happen
That
at
was
any age.
surprising. That was boom.
Yeah. Boom.
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 You get to that point in life where you say, you know what? You
Well,
gotta
we
seize the
don't have
moment.
that much time left, so.
Carpe diem, seize the day.
Right.
All right, Sally, what do you see for the foundation? They're working really hard. We've got a
yeah.
great crew this semester, different angles.
And it'll continue. You have to put in the time. Put in the time, and it's going to work. There are unexpected, I'm not going to say obstacles coming up, but there are unexpected things that will come up, or maybe finance. You may have to finance something a little bit more. But whatever you have to do, it's going to come back to you. So don't be afraid of anything. That's basically what I'm saying, because you planted the seed and it's growing and it will continue to grow. So just whatever comes up, even if you feel that no, you're not able to do that right now, again, I think I told you, just put it on the burner. Finish what you're doing, but don't forget about what came up, if that makes sense.
Is it more important to work on the foundation or to work on the things that brought the foundation to life?
It's a little bit of both. They're saying half a dozen of one and 6 of the other. Because what brought it to life is going to continue it going. And when it's going, you're going to have other things happening. So it's a balance. You've got to balance the two. If you don't, you're going to tip the balance. You can still correct it, but you don't want to make obstacles for yourself. So if something is going along and you feel that that's a good idea and it's going to fit in beautifully with the foundation, it probably is. If you say, well, I don't know, that's going to be a little hard because we're doing this particular thing, then go with that and give it a little more thought. But you're on the right track, you're on the right road. You're helping a lot of people, and a lot of people are helping you guys too.
They're all helping us.
Yeah. I'm glad you pointed out there because
The thems. We
they
have
are.
to thank the thems.
Please excuse
for
my
helping
voice.
us.
I've had this for a couple of days. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just telling me to be, shut up, as I said the other day on this
It's
show.
the balance of what it is.
There, I think I'll be all right now. That's fine. I cleared it. Okay, so yes, I hope that explains a little bit. So when you feel it a little chaotic, sit back.
Yeah, but the thing is that sometimes one thing takes more elements away from the other, and sometimes I wonder whether or not we should focus more on what got us there, because it's taken away. It takes so much more energy to make this new entity work, and you have to sort of weigh out the balance of what comes first.
Well, they're telling me you've come so far. You've come so far. So, yes, you're going to get what we call obstacles in the way, or oh, I'm doing all this. I could have just sat back and just done what we were doing, or even when you were just thinking about it. No, you've started this.
Well, it's too late to
I was
even
just
go
going to
that
say
way.
that. You've started it. It's going to go. It's going to go. It's going to work. And you're helping a lot of people in the process. That's what's going to keep you going. The fact that you're getting help, and you're helping people. It may seem overwhelming because it's new. It's something you've not done before. But the more you do it, and the more you're going to reap the rewards, so is everybody around you going to reap the rewards. It's not just here. It escalates outside of here. Take the people that are working here right now. What they're learning here, they're going to carry on. It's like a dominoes effect to somebody else and to somebody else. And that strength that you guys have by keeping it together is what's going to keep it together, and it's going to help other generations.
How do you keep the outside noise out without it playing cycles in your brain?
Well, it's not easy, Dawn. We all have this, no matter what it is. But you just tell yourself to just get away. Go away. It's like I need quiet time. Meditate, and then meditate on what you're wanting to figure out, and just quieten your mind.
I believe they've given me a message in answer to that question.
Go ahead.
And that is, never forget what got you here, but have a plan and always work that plan.
So it's the balance of both.
Yep.
Yes, it's balance, and as with balance, anything can tip either way, and you will get obstacles, but you can bring yourself back as long as you're aware of it. You have to be aware of
Very
it.
important not to forget what got you here. That's the strong
Right.
message I'm getting.
I agree with that 100%. Sometimes you have to look at what got you here. Has to come first before. It's like they say in the plane, you put the mask on yourself before you
That's
help
right.
others.
Yeah.
And sometimes the balance gets, in my eyes, it gets complicated because you still have to do what got you here.
And if you're not all right, nothing else is going to be all right. You have to be, just like in a plane, if you're not okay, you're not going to be able to save the other person. It's exactly the same scenario that we do here. We have to be all right. We have to be confident that we're doing the right thing.
But just remember, with this new emphasis, there are other mentalities of new that are occurring. There's a lot of new. Everybody's going through their changes right now, and just like the guys were asking questions. There's a lot of new, and sometimes when you open something new, you begin to look more and more at your new, and you begin to question more. So you begin to try to get them to believe more. Believing is twice the energy. Having to believe something is twice the energy than doing it.
It absolutely is, but then go back into the thing that why did you start this in the first place? Go back to ask yourself the questions of what made you move forward more when maybe you were comfortable just doing what you were doing. Sometimes that uncomfortability actually pushes you more. So when you're doing something and you say, I mean, I've done this myself with things that I'm going, why am I doing all this? You're going to question. That's part of who we are. But part of who we are, too, is experiencing things. So if we were stagnant, I mean, I'm at my age, I'm doing more than a lot of other people might do at their age. But if I was stagnant, I'm not learning. I'm driven to do more because that's me. I'm just talking personally. But we all are, actually, if we stop to think about it. Because otherwise, how are we going to move forward? How are other people in your lives going to move forward? Maybe you're the one that's taking the lead, and then they follow you with your lead by example. I spread my word. I want to do that by examples of things that have happened to me. These things only happen to me because I've done some pretty strange things in my life, like getting on a plane to come to this country, not even knowing where I was going, and leaving, unfortunately, a family that I didn't know where it was, where my children were. But I made that effort just to bring it into, this was tough. Could I have done it now? No. But when I was younger, and I took that lead, and it took me to many different places. But I'm no different to anyone else. We all have challenges in our lives. It's to go forward with our challenges. That's how we learn.
It answers your question of how do you keep the noise out. If you think about it.
What?
Because you had a calling, and it doesn't matter what the noise is, you got to go get it. See, life isn't something that's served up on a dish. It's
Right.
something that you cook up yourself. And this was, and I got to tell you, you thought of this whole piece for the kids. We were rocking our heads for the last 10 years trying to figure out how to help them more. And you came up with this idea. But you can't let noise stop you, because they always say that when you're on top is when you get chased.
Yeah.
And the noise is just chasing you. You have to do exactly what Sally just mentioned. And you got to go for it because you created it. This is what you wanted.
Find a
Don't-
way to allow that noise to help you move forward.
Sally, do you have time for a couple more questions?
Yes, I do. I feel like they're talking to me up there.
So my first question is if you can tell me, one is about me and one is in general. My question about me is if you can hear what my guides are saying for me at the moment, because I'm kind of in a moment of general confusion in my life decisions.
Yes, but you have to quieten the chatter too. You've got a lot of things going on around you. It's exactly what we're saying. It's actually what you should be doing. Move forward with what you want to do. Don't take any notice of what's going on around you sometimes, because if you're not strong, it's not going to work.
Yeah, thank you. That's really helpful.
Good.
And my other question was, how do you feel about manifestation? Because I feel like some people think of manifestation and they say, okay, I want $1 million, so I'm going to manifest it, and I'm going to wake up with it the next day.
Be careful what you ask for, because it will happen, good or bad. So, yes, I mean, if you want $1 million, put it down on a piece of paper, no matter what it is. You've got to believe it. I mean, that's asking for a lot of money.
Well, that's an example of like,
Yeah, I
some people
know.
I feel like take manifestation in the wrong way.
Yeah,
and they're like,
no.
I don't have to work for anything. I'm going to wish for it and it's going to come.
Yeah, but you've got to believe it. It's not going to be that easy because we are what we think and we are what we feel and we are what we put out there. So if you think that you want something, keep it in your mind. But if it doesn't happen at once, okay, then say, I want this to happen within a week. Act as if it's already happened. Believe in what you're saying, because this part is very, very important. Even if it hasn't happened yet, believe that it is happening or it has already happened. And you can manifest. We all can manifest. But we've got to believe that we can do it.
There was a time in my life when I thought I could manifest anything, and it just didn't work out. And then I realized the easiest way to get what we want is to work hard for it.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. I think some people get confused or they think one cancels out the other.
No, we, you know, it's like, I'm not saying we're spoiled children, well, I want this and I'm going to have that. We have to work for it. We do have to work for it. But the most important work to work for it is to believe that you can get it. Because most people say, well, this is what I'd like, but it's never going to happen. Well, you're manifesting it's never going to happen. So this is what I like. I'm going to have this next week. And then act as if it's already happened next week, and you will find that it will work. Maybe not all the time, but even saying that, I shouldn't say that because I believe that it will work.
You have to ask and be very specific.
Yes,
you can
you
ask
do.
for $1 million. You get ill the next day, and by the end of the week, you're better, and you feel like $1 million. So you got to be very
Perfect.
specific.
I like that.
as
It can
to
be
what you're
figurative.
It's
asking.
very, very true,
Oh,
Freddie.
that has happened in my life many times.
And you need to specify when. Say you want it tomorrow. They don't know when. It could be 10 years from now that you want, you know, that this will happen. But if you want something right away, say, I need it now. If you just say, this is what I need, and you don't give a date to it, well, it could happen anytime, yeah. So you have to be very specific.
My grandmother used to say, what are you willing to work for that? And if you can answer that question, you will always get what you're looking for.
I couldn't agree more.
I hope that helped you.
Did that help?
Thank you.
You're very busy today.
I'm really busy today. They're telling me not to talk too much, I think.
I think a lot of things are shifting. We were told astrologically after tomorrow.
Oh, really?
I know that's not the realm that you work with it, but the astrological realm, they said after February 4th.
Really? Okay.
Venus changes alignment and then everything becomes more of a positive
Yeah,
uptick.
I mean, I can only get feels. There are people that know much more than I know about astrology, but I totally believe 100% in astrology because if you take the sign that you are, I am a true Libra. How did I get to be a true Libra? Just to explain that, I asked to pick my parents, the date of birth, and my personality because it is completely a Libra. So how do we know that? I know that we choose what we're going to be before we come in, so we choose the time. There is really no time, but the time that we will be.
Well, there's so many things going on right now that you're going to have to be more specific on where you walk and how you think and even what you say, because there are those around you who disagree with what you think, no matter how bad situations get. And you have to be careful as to what you say, how you say it, what you think, where you step, the whole nine. You have to have more accountability for yourself, because having accountabilities for others right now will probably slow you down.
Absolutely right, because there is a lot of things happening. They call it there's a shift happening in the world. And this shift right now, many people are calling what I'm doing actually now is like waking up to the fact that there is so much more. We have to lift that vibrational energy. We have to not take notice of all these things. I'm never going to bring politics up particularly, but I'm going to, in this particular case, if one side doesn't agree with the other side, and I'm not taking sides or anything, just let it be. Let them work it out. Let them have that. You know, we don't know what's going on in people's minds, but we can feel the uncertainty of everything. And we probably, obviously, a lot of the things we don't like, and there's a lot of things we do like. No two people are the same. But if we can just keep a balance with this, it's like they're testing us. We'll do. Aldo used to say, and I'm going to bring it up again, divide and conquer. That's exactly what's happening. Divide everybody, no matter what it is. Whether I want this for lunch and you want that for lunch. It doesn't matter what it is, but we're dividing ourselves. Well, they like that, the ones that may be in control, and they decide that they're going to conquer you now, and they're going to do this, that, and the other. Unaware, because we're so caught up with everything, what in the heck's happening anyway? We have to be very aware of our surroundings. We have to try to keep the peace with each other. I can't tell you for the whole world because that's going to be difficult, but if each person feels that way, it could and should and maybe will work. Let's try to be positive.
Which is why you must remain focused on what your plans are, because if you're not, then there are always people around you who will try to bring you down.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Steve, exactly. And they because people get pleasure sometimes in doing that.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we all play different parts. So you can't say to yourself, okay, I'm getting pleasure from this person because this is happening, or why is this all happening to me? Because we're bringing that upon ourselves. So yes, we don't have to like everybody, of course not. And we don't have to dislike everybody, but we need a balance there. And if you feel that someone is in your life or is happening to you that you don't particularly have the same views or you care about, then you don't have to. You can't save the world, but you need to be aware that we need to keep our vibrations up no matter what's going on.
You should respect other people's opinions just like you respect your own.
Absolutely.
You don't want people arguing with you, so you shouldn't argue with them either. Everybody has a perspective. But what really bothers me is the impulse that they can put their thoughts on you and think that it's okay to do that.
Well, I hate to say, but
It's like
that's
legalized bullying.
We had to wrap it up.
It is. Yeah.
You're giving us 1 minute, Sally.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll discuss more of that next
Wow.
week. We'll get some. It went by very, very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll see you all next week. Come with your questions, read my book, ask me things that you might want to know from my book, and I'll see you all next week. Thank you for listening. You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Bernard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you can always seek me out for resources by visiting artbysallybernard.com. Join us next week, Mondays at 2:30. Have a blessed day.